They say for everything there's a first time, but it's the second time around for these two tag team partners. As the Fairfield Fox Faye Crawford and the Memphis Millionaires Jody Dvorak join forces for the first time, facing Grace Fenwick and Jessica Goldman, the UK ladies.
The following ladies tag team contest is set for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Introducing first, from Sussex, England, Grace Fenwick, and from Brisbane, Australia, Jessica Goldman. Together they are the UK ladies.
Well, sir, leave it to Grace Fenwick and Jessica Goldman to put me in a holiday mood a couple of months before Christmas. Yes, sir, I love that music. Just puts me in a Christmassy kind of mood. I can smell the tinsel now. Then check out Grace Fenwick, rocking her brand new ring jacket. She's got a big old snowflake on the back. Have a look, watch this. Here it comes. Big old snowflake. She looks like a big old S&M Christmas elf. With a whip, she could do a thriving trade in dominance. Oh, hey. Merry Christmas, you guys.
We love you, Tex, but we could live to be 100 and never figure you out, fella.
Their opponents, first, from Fontana, California, Memphis Millionaires Jody Dvorak, and from Fairfield, Connecticut, the Fairfield Fox Faye Crawford JD, and the Fox.
Here's a team that came straight out of the blue unexpected. Jody Dvorak and Faye Crawford, neither of them strangers to tag team work. Jody, of course, during her time with the Bell Council, and Faye from her run with Crystal Gabor, a run that brought them to the Women's World Tag Titles for a time. Could we see another near-perfect pairing between the Memphis Millionaires and the Fairfield Fox? This match with the UK ladies will prove a crucial test for the partnership.
Will the two complement one another, or will they clash like chalk and cheese?
Lots of kinks to iron out in a new partnership. Let's see how quick they can smooth over any rough spots, because this match still heavily favors Grace Fenwick and Jessica Goldman.
Yep, definitely remains to be seen if Faye Crawford and Jody Dvorak can coexist as a team. It's been a while since either of these ladies engaged in some tag team work. Gonna be Grace Fenwick starting it off for the UK ladies, and Faye Crawford starting it off for JD and the Fox. Willie Johnson rings the bell. Faye Crawford off the ropes, flying punch, takes Grace Fenwick down to the canvas. Fenwick back up on her feet. Faye Crawford whips her out onto the apron. An enziguri. Puts down Grace Fenwick. Faye Crawford turning her attention to Jessica Goldman and then turning it right back to Grace Fenwick. Fenwick off the ropes, a flying kick to the back of Faye Crawford. Crawford rounded up. There's a kick right to the face from Grace Fenwick. Fenwick locked up by Faye Crawford, whipped to her team's corner, and here we go. Faye Crawford takes it on her own, delivers a kick to the calf of Grace Fenwick. Fenwick still on the wrong side of town. Oh, wicked kick right to the head for Grace Fenwick. Look at this. The Fairfield Fox calling for it. There's a set of wicked strength kicks to the chest of Grace Fenwick. Man, like 6 of them. Who? Well, all right. Faye Crawford keeping Grace Fenwick on her side of the ring and stretching the leg of Grace Fenwick. The Fairfield Fox dominant here. Over the top rope and kaboom! Down goes Grace Fenwick again on the floor on the outside as Willie Johnson starts the count. Running knee from Grace Fenwick to Faye Crawford. Crawford rounded up. There's a hard right forearm from Grace Fenwick. The sadistic Grace Fenwick taking out her aggressions on Faye Crawford, even if Faye Crawford isn't specifically her type. Man. Wrist clutch kicks to Faye Crawford on the outside as the ref continues to count. And Grace Fenwick is going to take her sweet time, stretching the arms of the Fairfield Fox. Follows that up with a pair of knees into her back. Grace Fenwick rounds up the Fairfield Fox. Man, Grace Fenwick catching some elbows to the midsection from Faye Crawford. Crawford rolls Grace back inside the ring, makes her own way inside. The count is over. Rebound off the ropes. Flying punch just about connects to the Fairfield Fox. She makes a tag, and here comes the Memphis Millionaires, Jody Dvorak, who takes a shot from Grace Fenwick. And Jody is much more Grace Fenwick's type. She might enjoy this a little too much, and here we go. Right away, laying in to Jody Dvorak with a series of wrist clutch kicks. And now she's going to go and stretch the arms on the Memphis Millionaires. A pair of double knees into the back of Jody Dvorak. Jody rounded up by Grace Fenwick. Fenwick with a hard whip to the UK ladies' corner. She's going to take it herself again. Yanking on the arm of Jody Dvorak. Now Jody's on the wrong side of town in the UK ladies' territory. Another kick to the calf for Jody Dvorak. Grace Fenwick locks her up. Drives a set of knees into Jody's midsection. Tags in Jessica Goldman of the UK ladies. Jody Dvorak catches a stomp to the midsection. Jessica Goldman with a series of rocket kicks to the head. Here's a cover. One. Only just a one. Jody Dvorak quickly getting the shoulder back up. There's a stomp to the midsection from Jessica Goldman. Goldman with a series of wrist clutch kicks to Jody. Follows that up with a forearm to the side of the head. Jessica Goldman. Well, both UK ladies actually pretty aggressive. There's a knee to the head of Jody Dvorak. And it seems like Jody and Faye Crawford are on the defensive in this one so far. There's a clothesline from Jessica Goldman. Jody quickly tags in the Fairfield Fox, who catches a running drop kick from Jessica Goldman. 15. Not starting out too good right here. Faye Crawford catches a turnbuckle to the face. Jessica Goldman tries to put the boots to her, but she says, "No, that's all right, we're not doing that." Jessica Goldman slams face first to the canvas. Jody rounds her up into a power bomb, flips her over and drives a knee into her head. The Fairfield Fox off the ropes, fails to connect with the crossbody. Jessica Goldman makes her pay for the mistake with a forearm, beats it out of town and turns it over to Grace Fenwick. The UK ladies in control of the match so far. Both ladies missed their move on that one. Grace Fenwick with a kick. All right, a chop and another kick. Yes. Faye Crawford down to one knee. There's a forearm. The Fairfield Fox on the defensive again as the UK ladies continue to press the attack. Grace Fenwick driving knees into the leg of the Fairfield Fox. There's a stomp to the midsection. A stomp to the shoulder. Grace Fenwick definitely having a good time in there as here comes Jessica Goldman. The Fairfield Fox crawls her way to the corner. Goldman right there waiting for her. There's a kick to the ribs. There's another. Faye Crawford in trouble. Smashed head first into the turnbuckle by Jessica Goldman. Goldman beats it out of town and turns it over to Grace Fenwick. Faye Crawford still hung up in that corner. A clothesline takes her down to the canvas. Grace Fenwick quickly going for a cover. Here's the ref. Not even a one this time. Faye Crawford kicking out of that pin right away. Grace Fenwick whips her to the UK ladies' corner. She's going to take it herself again. Drapes the leg over the rope. Delivers the kick to the calf of the Fairfield Fox. Fenwick rounds up. Faye Crawford drives a knee into her head. Yes, sir. Grace Fenwick definitely having a good time in there tonight. Slam face first into the canvas by the Fairfield Fox. Faye Crawford goes after Jessica Goldman too. Turns it around. Grace Fenwick with the upper hand, but no counter. There's a kick to the midsection. A rebound off the ropes and a flying punch to Grace Fenwick takes her down to the mat. Faye Crawford going for a pin. One. Only a one. Grace Fenwick powers out. Fenwick rounded up by the Fairfield Fox. Whip to the opposing team's corner. Faye Crawford gonna take it herself. In retaliation, a kick to the calf of Grace Fenwick. The Fairfield Fox takes Grace Fenwick down to the canvas, and there's a bully-style beat down in the corner. Raining punches on the head of Grace Fenwick. A stomp to the shoulder from the Fairfield Fox. And here comes Jody Dvorak again. the Memphis Millionaires. Rounded up over the shoulders of Grace Fenwick. A discus punch takes Jody down to the mat. Fenwick steps out, turns it over to Jessica Goldman. Boy, these guys have got no courage at all, huh? Jody goes behind on Goldman, has her up. Inverted vertical suplex. That was unusual. Jody Dvorak drives a knee into the arm of Jessica Goldman. And the new team of JD and the Fox trying to put out the fire on the UK ladies. A drop kick off the ropes from Jessica Goldman to Jody Dvorak. Jody rounded up again. Whip to the UK ladies' corner. Jody counters with an elbow, finds her way out of the danger zone, locks it up with Jessica Goldman. Counter whips her to the opposing team's corner. And Jody countered with an elbow by Goldman. Goldman locks her up. Jody counters with elbows to Jessica. Jessica Goldman catches a right, catches another, catches a chop. And a backbreaker from the Memphis Millionaires. Jody Dvorak. Here's a cover. One. But nope. But finally, the tide appears to be turning for JD and the Fox. As Faye Crawford is brought in on the tag, Jessica Goldman, slow to get up, catches a stomp to the back. Faye Crawford with a nice judo toss to Jessica Goldman. A stomp to the chest. Another. The Fairfield Fox turns it back over to Jody Dvorak. Okay, the team definitely turning it around here on the UK ladies. Jody with Goldman by the ankles, alley-oops her out of the corner. And she's done. She turns it over to Jessica Goldman. The team now starting to gel, starting to play here. Both ladies missed their move on that one. A right, a chop, another right, and a drop kick to the knee of Faye Crawford by Jessica Goldman. Rebound off the ropes. There's a moonsault excellently executed in the center of the ring. Goldman turns it over to Grace Fenwick. Faye Crawford, center ring, catches a running drop kick from Grace Fenwick. Fenwick gathers up the Fairfield Fox. Crawford whipped to the ropes. A running punch takes her down, and a quick cover from Fenwick. 1, 2. Almost, but no. Oh, yeah, Grace Fenwick's feeling that she's mad. That was damn close. Grace Fenwick smelling blood in the water here, maybe. Faye Crawford slow to get up over the shoulders. Inverted fireman's carry. There's a knee to the skull of GTS. And Grace Fenwick covers. 1. But Jody Dvorak right there to break it up. The Memphis Millionaires moving real quick. The team's not having any real problems mechanically. Just that the UK ladies are giving them a tough time. Here's a tag to Jessica Goldman. Faye Crawford. Double whip to the ropes. Double shoulders as Jessica Goldman takes over. And the combination of Jessica Goldman and Grace Fenwick, well, they've been doing pretty good for themselves so far, but Faye Crawford and Jody Dvorak have been battling back. But now they're starting to lose it again as Jessica Goldman twists the arms on the Fairfield Fox. Follows it up with 2 knees into the back of Faye Crawford. Jessica Goldman swings with the kick, gets taken down quickly by Faye Crawford. Crawford whips Goldman to the ropes. Ooh, a vicious knee to the midsection and a kick to the head to Jessica Goldman from the Fairfield Fox. Faye Crawford whips Goldman to her team's corner again. Jessica Goldman counters out of the corner, takes a run, rebounds off the ropes, misses with the punch. Faye Crawford doesn't miss with hers, but Jessica Goldman just the same whips her to the ropes and nails her with a flying punch. Here's a cover and a hook of the leg. 1, 2. Well, now looks like the UK ladies are going to have to work just that much harder. Jessica Goldman turns it over to Grace Fenwick. The Fairfield Fox, Faye Crawford back on her feet. Here comes Grace Fenwick, misses with the kick. Gets tagged with a hard right from Faye Crawford. Faye Crawford playing with Grace Fenwick now. The Fairfield Fox catches a couple of kicks, a right and a spin kick from Grace Fenwick. And that was the parting shot as she turns it over to Jessica Goldman. The Fairfield Fox taken down with that withering barrage of shots. as Jessica Goldman moves in on Faye Crawford, and this could be bad right here. To this, a rebound off the ropes and a flying punch from Goldman to the Fairfield Fox. Crawford rounded up again by Jessica Goldman. Hard whip towards the far left corner, the UK ladies corner, and head first into the turnbuckle. Goes Faye Crawford again. Faye Crawford rounded up by Goldman. Rebound off the middle ropes. Flying kick right to the side of the head. The Fairfield Fox rolls out to the floor. Grace Fenwick is brought in on the tag. The referee is already counting Faye Crawford as Grace Fenwick goes after Jody Dvorak, gets a shot in the face for her troubles. She goes back, tries it again. Anenzaguri finally puts Jody on the floor as Faye Crawford makes her way back inside the ring. A hard right spins Grace Fenwick around. Fenwick catches a spinning knee to the hip. Wow! Faye Crawford covers one. But again, though, the UK ladies giving this new team a hard time. Here's a set of jabs from one of the best strikers in the ladies division. Boom, hard right hand takes Grace Fenwick down. Faye Crawford covers. 1, 2. There's one thing about Faye Crawford. She will punch your lights out. The Fairfield Fox moves in on Jessica Goldman. Jody Dvorak returns to her corner. And Jessica Goldman about to catch those 10-count punches to the chest from Faye Crawford. The referee continuing to count Grace Fenwick. And out to the floor goes Jessica Goldman. Faye Crawford right there waiting for Grace Fenwick. A hard forearm takes her down to the canvas. And here comes Jody Dvorak, the Memphis Millionaires. The whip kitten misses with her move. Grace Fenwick goes behind on her. There's a hard right that takes Jody down to the canvas. Jody Dvorak rounded up again by Grace Fenwick. And one more time, Grace Fenwick gonna go to work on the arms of the Memphis Millionaires, Jody Dvorak. Grace Fenwick, look at the eyes on that woman. She's crazy. Double knees to the back for Jody as Grace Fenwick delivers another kick to the back. Fenwick rounds her up, locks up Jody, whips her to the UK ladies corner. And again, Grace Fenwick takes it herself, smashes Jody's head into the turnbuckle. Grace Fenwick yanks her out of the corner, and a flying kick rebound off the ropes to the head of Jody Dvorak. Jody trying to make her way to a standing position, using the ropes for leverage here. Grace Fenwick with a vicious clothesline takes Jody down to the canvas, and Grace Fenwick quickly going to go for the pin. Here's the ref. 1, 2, and again, no. Jody Dvorak, very tough. Almost impossible to keep down. Grace Fenwick whips Jody to her team's corner. Fenwick with another kick to the calf of Jody Dvorak. She moves in on Jody. Jody counters with a kick to the midsection. Gets a hold of Grace Fenwick. Look at this. She's got the leg. Look at this. Fisherman package pin. Look at this here. 1, 2, 3, and that is all over. JD and the Fox picking up their first win as a tag team.
The time 15 minutes and 40 seconds. Your winners by pinfall, JD and the Fox.
Well, JD and the Fox may sound like a bad NBC TV sitcom from the 80s, but the team apparently works very well. The Memphis Millionaires and the Fairfield Fox collaborating to put an end to the UK ladies in this matchup, and well, now we may be seeing the start of something real special between Faye Crawford and Jody Dvorak. And it was the Memphis Millionaires picking up the win for her team over Grace Fenwick, and there it was, the kick to the midsection and that package pin. Beautifully done. We'll be back with more RWL Snarl right after the break. Hope to see you there.